Really hope you liked it. If you did, guys, hit that like button. That was too much like Peter McKinnon. I can't do that. I can't do that. Welcome back to Run4Adventure, guys. I'm Lloyd Purvis. We are back with another kit review. Seems like ages since we've done a kit review, so we can't wait to get stuck into this one. We're super excited. It's a new brand to the channel, and it's a brand I've never run in before. So today we are reviewing the ALTRA TIMP 1.5. For those of you that haven't come across ALTRA as a running brand before, they are known for having shoes with a zero drop, so no heel offset, and also known for carrying a really wide toe box in the shoe. So that's a little bit about the brand. Let's talk about spec on the ALTRA TIMP 1.5. Price of the ALTRA shoe retails in the UK at £130. It obviously runs off a zero drop like all the ALTRA shoes, so we've got a 29mm stack on the heel and a 29mm stack on the forefoot. Weight of the shoe, the men's comes in at a 298 and the women's shoes comes in at 247 grams. The TIMP 1.5 has this really clever gaiter trap on the upper. It is running off ALTRA's A-bound EVA midsole, and that is covered in their Max Trax rubber. That's a bit about the spec of the ALTRA shoe. Let's get stuck into this review. First thing we're going to talk about when it comes to the shoe is the zero drop. I've always run in reasonably low offset shoes, around about 3, 4, 5 mil. So there I was thinking, zero drop, not a problem for me. I'm used to running in a low heel, and I'd like to think I'm quite light on my feet and I'm not a heavy runner on my heels. The ALTRA shoes come with this tiny little booklet, which is basically a transition guide telling you how you should transition into a zero drop shoe. Obviously, what idiot wouldn't run in these shoes without reading this first? Unfortunately, I was that idiot. All I can say is my first run was very interesting, and I couldn't believe how different you have to move when you're in an ALTRA shoe and when you're on that zero drop. So the first run I had in them was a very short run, 4 miles. I got about 2 miles into the run and my calves really started to tighten up, which I was really shocked about. So 2 miles in, I decided to turn around and head home. Halfway home, I was pretty much walking. That's how drastic my body reacted, and maybe I should have read that leaflet a little bit more carefully. I've known about the ALTRA brand for many years. Being an ultra runner, they're very, very popular in the ultra scene. To be honest, I was always a little bit skeptical about the shoes with this crazy wide toe box, especially for myself having a very narrow foot and tend to run in narrow shoes. I was always put off trying the shoes out just because the toe box looks so wide. Once I got through them few little niggles in the transition phase of the shoe, I was actually really surprised about the width of the toe. It actually felt really good, really comfortable. The midfoot of the shoe holds you in, locks you in really well, and then this wide toe box gives you a lovely natural splay on the foot. And what it actually made me realise was that I'm quite constricted in my shoes, and this space is pretty damn comfortable. I've put about 40 miles into the shoe on lots of different terrains, tarmac, mud, grass, all kinds of stuff. And I actually found this Max Trax rubber pretty grippy on most of them surfaces. I found the A-bound midsole pretty comfortable on most of them. It's a nice level of cushioning, not too much, not too little. A massive thing in the States is wearing trail gaiters with your trail shoes. So the ALTRA shoe comes with this really clever gaiter trap. So you've got a couple of little holders on the side of the shoe, and then you've got this Velcro tab on the back of the heel. So if you're a fan of gaiters, this shoe has some really clever features. The shoe coming in at 298 grams is a bit on the heavy side for me. I normally run in a slightly lighter shoe, but to be honest, it doesn't run heavy. It doesn't feel like you're stomping around in a big heavy pair of shoes. It's still pretty responsive. Also, when it comes to fit, I'm a 9.5 in a lot of my shoes. This is a 9.5 and it fits really well. That's a bit about the tech of the shoe, and that's a bit about how I felt putting them 40 miles into the shoe. We always love to score kit on Run4Adventure. So let's get some scores on the ALTRA TIMP 1.5. The first thing we're going to score at Run4Adventure is price of the shoe. So the ALTRA comes in at £130 in the UK. I would say maybe a little bit on the steep side when it comes to price. £130 is a lot for a shoe. I know there's a lot of different concepts in this shoe, but I still think that's a bit on the heavy side. So we're going to give it a pretty reasonable 7 out of 10 when it comes to price. Number 2 on the list for the ALTRA is comfort and performance. And I've got to say, I was really surprised by this shoe. Once I got through all them initial niggles and the problems I had on that first run, and to be fair, I must highlight, you know, the warning that comes with the shoe, this tiny little leaflet and in a little small print saying maybe take 6 to 8 weeks to transition. I think maybe the warning should be a bit more like this. I was really shocked how different I felt running in this shoe. It was almost like learning how to run again. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it was very different. And like I said, in them first few runs, I did have a few niggles and a few worries, to be honest. But once I transitioned, I was amazed how comfortable this shoe was. So the width in the toe I found super comfy. That splay almost felt like I didn't have a shoe on. Surprised how I was locked into that midfoot, no slippage, really held firm, so a super comfy ride in the upper. Midsole cushioning, really good. I'm a big fan of Hoka shoes, as you all know, and this cushioning didn't let me down. It was comfortable, it was cushioned, but not over cushioned either. Grip wise, really good on most surfaces. I've got to admit, there was a bit of wet road I ran on and it felt a bit sketchy, like, to be fair, a lot of trail shoes do. Not really designed for the tarmac surface, but it did feel a bit sketchy on that road section. I had a couple of really hot days when I was running in the shoe, and the breathability was really good on the upper. I don't wear gaiters, I'm not a fan of gaiters. I don't really get gaiters, so I didn't get to try out the gaiter system, but it looks pretty good to me. I'm sure it would work really well if you were a gaiter fan. The trail claw lugs under your forefoot on the outsole I found were really helpful, especially on soft sand. When you're coming through to toe off on the soft stuff, they definitely gave you a little bit more traction. So all in all, I was pretty impressed with the ALTRA shoe. I've got to say, we're going to score it pretty high. I think it would have scored a lot higher. Because of that transition period, I get it, you need to transition, you need to take your time. I want to buy a shoe and I just want to go and run in it. I don't really want to spend 6 to 8 weeks transitioning into it. So unfortunately, with them few niggles we had, we've marked it down a little bit on comfort and performance. If I hadn't had them, if it would run straight out of the box and I could have got that mileage in it straight away, it would have scored a lot higher. So for comfort and performance, we're going to give it still a pretty impressive 7 out of 10. So next thing to be scored on Run4Adventure is probably the most important thing, durability. Obviously, we've only put 40 miles in the shoe, so it's quite a hard thing to score durability with only that mileage in the shoe. But after 40 miles, grip's looking great, upper's looking great, there's no fatigue showing, like I'd hope there wouldn't be after 40 miles, but the shoe looks to be holding up really well, cushioning's still really soft. I have seen on some other reviews that the ALTRA cushioning can sometimes break down pretty quick, so it'll be interesting to see how this shoe holds up. But at the moment, we're going to score it pretty high, it's looking strong. So we're going to give it 8 out of 10 for durability. Last on the list is looks. Probably the least important thing when it comes to scoring, and that's what I always tell runners. Don't go on looks, pick on comfort, how it feels. But I must say, the shoe comes in this blue and sort of lime green colorway. It also comes in a grey and red. I have to be honest, I think it's pretty damn ugly. It doesn't look that fetching. I find it really hard to get over this crazy shape of shoe. When you're running and you look down at your feet, it looks pretty odd. But I know it's only looks, it's aesthetics, it doesn't really matter. I don't think it's a particularly good looking shoe. So unfortunately, the shoe's not going to get scored that highly on looks at Run4Adventure. It's a little bit of a thumbs down. It's only going to get 6 out of 10. So tallying up all them points for the ALTRA shoe, a brand that I've never run a step in before, the shoe is going to come in with a pretty respectable 28 out of 40. And if it wasn't for them few niggles in that transition period, I think it might have scored a fair bit higher. Time for a quick conclusion on the ALTRA shoe. I was really impressed. It's a shoe brand that I've always been doubtful about. I've always thought it was a bit crazy, a bit bonkers, and that it would never work with my foot shape. It really did work with my foot shape. The midfoot held the foot really well, and that toe box width is really, really comfortable. If ALTRA, and they never will, if they did a shoe with about a 4mm stack height, I think I'd be really interested in it because the fit felt great, but I did have a few niggles when it came to that zero drop. The next thing I want to talk about is the transition period. You know, if you want to buy a pair of ALTRAs, if you want to give them a go, then really take note. Get that booklet, give it a proper read, you know, give it a thorough read, listen to what they're saying, because you really do need to take your time transitioning into these shoes. The last thing you want to do is put them on, go for a run that's too long, and end up in a world of trouble. So to cap it off, when it comes to the ALTRA shoe, we feel at Run4Adventure it's a bit of an acquired taste, but if you're looking for a trail shoe and you've always struggled with width in the toe box, or you just feel you want some more room to allow your foot to naturally splay, or you're thinking about running with a lower offset and you feel your shoes are a bit too stacked up, the ALTRA TIMP 1.5 is definitely worth going and checking out. That is the ALTRA TIMP 1.5 review, a trail shoe. We've also managed to get hold of a pair of road shoes, so we are going to be reviewing them very soon. Just want to say a massive thanks to ALTRA for supplying us with a trail shoe and a road shoe. It means so much on the channel when we can get hold of product to review, so thanks very much, ALTRA. If you want to find out any more information about the TIMP 1.5, we have left a link down in the description. Please click on it and check it out. That is another review done, guys. It was awesome bringing a new brand to the channel. We really hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Any comments, guys, get them in the comments below. Have you run in an ALTRA shoe? Did you have problems with the transition period, or did you get on with it fine straight out the box? Let us know how you feel about running in that brand. If you haven't checked out our last video, guys, the one we shot at the Classic Quarter a few weeks ago, please go along and take a look. We spent a long time editing, filming. We think we've made a great video, so go and check it out. We are super busy at the channel. We are going to be shooting up to the Serpent Trail in a few weeks' time, another awesome freedom racing event. We are going to be making a video, and also we're working on another video from the Enduroman race we did a few months ago, so that will be coming to the channel soon, so stay tuned for them, guys. And as always at Run4Adventure, guys, thanks for watching, stay safe and keep on running.